Suzuki as a brand has met with good success in South Africa since their launch a few years ago. They offer cars with decent value and a good drive. The Swift is seen as a cheerful, friendly thing, a cute city car, good for the everyday commute. But there is another side to it. And this is it, the Swift Sport. It'll have you believe that it's dropped the friendly in favour of the fiendish, and that the cheerful has been replaced with challenging. In the very rare world of compact performance cars, its makers want you to know that it'll take on anything in its weight division. From the front, this car doesn't really make its performance genes that obvious. There's some fins around the fog lights and some contrasting colours and a different grille. But you have to go to the back to see that it means business. How do you make a car look like it means business? You give it twin exhausts and a diffuser. It is a good-looking package, this. Cute without being stupid-looking, and with its own air of sensibility. The Swift Sport isn't as fashionable as a Fiat 500 or as off-the-wall as a Renault Twingo, but it has its own appeal, and it can certainly park next to either of those two without fading into the background. A few small changes to the basic Swift styling has given the Sport a more muscular, purposeful look, and it makes a good impression. It's leading its performance charge with this motor. Suzuki have stayed away from the current trend of fitting small turbo motors with decent outputs, and instead have fitted a small non-turbo motor with decent outputs. It's a 1600 petrol with 100 kilowatts and 160 newton meters. 0 to 100 time, 8.7 seconds, top speed 195. By comparison, you could get yourself a French number, the Renault Twingo Gordini, with the same power, or for 15,000 Rand more you could buy a Fiat 500 Abarth with a bit more torque and a bit more poseworthiness. About 20 grand above that is the Citroën DS3, and from there it starts getting really expensive. So the Swift Sport really has only two major contenders, and the first impression is that it wants to fight. From the moment you get going, you get the impression that this car has got real attitude. It's got a nice raspy little engine note. It gets through the revs really eagerly. The steering feels good, the gear shift feels even better, and it's got that typical Suzuki solidity about it. It doesn't have enough power to make you feel like you're going to break any records, but by the same token, it doesn't feel particularly slow either. The engine in front may not be a technological trendsetter, but what it has is balance. Easy to use in traffic, real fun to push hard when you want a bit of performance. I can't imagine that getting the recipe for a car like this is a particularly easy thing. You have to balance how much power you can put in a small car with how much the mechanicals can handle. But again, Suzuki have got that balance right. There's good power off the line and good traction, but no torque steer. The steering feels good without being over-assisted. The grip is impressive, and the ride setup is spot on. It's got the kind of drive that makes you smile, because this really is a little car that can. It always feels good, it gives you confidence to explore its abilities, and it keeps you comfortable while doing it. Suzuki may have tweaked this car for driving fun, but they haven't lost sight of the fact that it still needs to be good when you're in traffic. The interior isn't perfect. There is lots of black plastic, and the cabin is made even darker by the tinted windows. But it still manages to be impressive because of the spec level. It's got good bucket seats, it's got climate control, and it's got a start button. It's not the button itself that's impressive, but rather the fact that Suzuki have included keyless operation as part of the price. It's a well laid out, well sorted interior this, and like everything else on this car, it's solidly bolted together with a real sense of quality. The impressive spec extends to the safety stuff: 6 airbags, ABS, stability control, brake force distribution, and brake assist. The Swift Sport is a continuation of what we've come to expect from Suzuki. It's a well thought out, well put together car that is genuine fun to drive. Compared to its immediate competition, it's got a bit of the Goldilocks effect. The Fiat 500 Abarth doesn't have enough feel. The Renault Twingo Gordini could be seen to be just a little bit too mental, but this car is just right. At face value, a 1600cc with 100 kilowatts doesn't sound that sporty, but in practice, the Swift Sport has a lot of go with an entertaining chassis to match. The result is a nippy hatch that's fun to drive, matched to good looks and tactile quality. A brighter interior and sharper cosmetics would make it even better.